is Control B, where I get a chance to talk with the leaders that are making bold moves today to deliver those breakthrough experiences to their employees and customers. Today I have Jill Marchick from Indiana Pacers, where she is the Vice President of Insights and Engagement.
Thanks for having me.
I get a chance to meet with customers just about every day, and I always find that if you can just kind of break the ice a little bit, things just go better. So the writers here at Control B have been trying to help me out, and they've been writing some jokes. Collectively, we'll decide if I should use them or not. Early in my career, I remember noticing that I had enough money to live out the rest of my life in peace, as long as I died before 2 p.m. How about you? What did the writers send you?
The Indiana Pacers will pick 13th in the 2021 draft. Other athletes who've been picked 13th include Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, and Donovan Mitchell. And also Brad Anderson at age 10 on a playground with 12 other kids.
All right, Jill, one of the trends that we've seen over the past few years, and especially over the past last year, is to focus on employees of an organization as internal customers because they require the same kind of care and attention as traditional external customers. In your role as an executive at your company, what have you learned about the best ways to gather this kind of experience data on your employees, and what have you been doing with it?
Employee engagement is key, and I think during the pandemic, it became even more important to really understand what is going on with your employees, that their needs are being met, and we're pivoting to make sure we're delivering what they need as well. So we did an employee survey to really understand a couple of things. Their happiness working at the Pacers during this time period, and then looking at different areas that we were working on to help with that engagement. For example, we would have weekly town halls, we'd have daily emails with updates. We then did listening sessions to really understand the full picture so then we could develop the right action plan moving forward. But what people really wanted was more projects that you worked cross-functionally because you're not in the office anymore. So how do you connect with people that you're not working with on a day-to-day basis? We had 2 goals. The goal number 1 is have people work together, but the other was how can the Pacers in the short term, develop new ideas to build revenue? We weren't really having fans, in our arenas, so what new ideas could we do from a revenue generating as well as a cost savings? The world's biggest Dungeons & Dragons convention is in Indianapolis every year. The only city with more dragons and dungeons is King's Landing.
All right, here we go. Last year, I was working on a project for a company that made software for psychiatric evaluations, and they sent us a bunch of Rorschach tests. But the set of cards I got were messed up because every card in the stack was just a picture of my best friends going to a party without me. Now, I know that you're constantly collaborating with the CIO and the CTO about how to better connect and engage with your fans. And your expertise with this type of analytics was new to the organization when you joined. So I'm curious, how did you introduce these tools and these concepts of experience data or X data? And then what were the first problems that you started to tackle once you had everything in place?
I joined Pacer Sports and Entertainment in the midst of the pandemic. So the first thing I did was think back to all the great experience that I've had working with Qualtrics. And I'm like, we need to sign a contract with Qualtrics immediately. We need to talk to all of our fans, from our season ticket holders to our single game buyers, to really understand what changes do we need to make in our field house for people to feel comfortable to return again. And based on all of the work, we were really able to identify who was most open to returning to the field house and really make sure we target the right communication to those individuals. In addition, when we reopened the field house, we started doing surveys 3 hours after tip-off to fans that were in the field house to really understand the game day experience, not just the entertainment, but making sure that they feel comfortable with our health and wellness procedures as well.
I think one of the most interesting things that you pointed out there is you were trying to get into the hearts and minds. You wanted to understand their emotions and their sentiment. That's what we call experience or X data. But I think all of us swim in operational data or O data, and it's different. It tells you what, but it doesn't tell you why, or the things that you can do to really understand what the emotions of both in customers and employees are. I love that. Thank you for taking the time to come spend a few moments with us here and share what you're doing and how you're listening to what your customers want, what your employees want. That is going to be key as we think about how we attract and retain customers and employees moving forward.
Thank you.
This is the end of side one of this record.